Hello everyone, time for a tier ranking video. Haven't done one of these for a little bit. One of my earlier tier ranking videos was 2000 movies, as in movies from the year 2000. So here we have 2001 movies, as in movies from the year 2001. So we have our standard tier setting here: S tier, A tier, A, B, C, D, and haven't seen. And let's just go ahead and get all the haven't seens out of the way. This is going to be a mix of ones I haven't seen, but I might like to at some point, and those I haven't seen but don't want to. I'm just going to put them all together because it's faster that way. I have not seen A Beautiful Mind. Don't particularly want to. Haven't seen Amelie. I'm actually not sure. I think I want to see that. I'm not. American Pie 2, don't want to see it. Atlantis, not really. Not really interested in seeing that. Behind Enemy Lines, Black Hawk Down, and Blow, don't want to see those. Bridget Jones's Diary, don't really want to see that. Brotherhood of the Wolf, wow, oh man, I keep meaning to see that, and then I just forget. Okay, Cowboy Bebop the movie, gonna get to that one at some point. Dr. Dolittle 2 is a hard no. Driven, not even sure what that is. Druids, it sounds familiar. I think it's supposed to be pretty bad. Elvira's Hunted Hills. I've heard that one is nowhere near as good as Elvira, Mistress of the Dark, and that movie was pretty funny. Let's see here. Did I see? No, I did not. I'm pretty sure. No. I've seen bits and pieces of Freddy Got Fingered, but I'm not going to count it. From Hell, not going to see it. Hedwig and the Angry Inch. That one's on the list. I Am Sam, don't want to see it. Iris, haven't seen it. Jeepers Creepers, refuse to see it because fuck Victor Salva. The Jimmy Neutron movie, haven't seen it. Josie and the Pussycats, haven't seen it. Joyride, haven't seen it. K-Pax, don't want to see it because fuck you, Kevin Spacey. Kate and Leopold, haven't seen it. Kissing Jessica Stein, haven't seen it. LIE, haven't seen it. I've actually never seen Legally Blonde, believe it or not. Or Life is a House, or the anime of Metropolis. I have not seen Monsters Ball. I've not seen Monsters Inc., believe it or not. Let's see. No Man's Land? Is that a documentary? I think that's a documentary. Ocean's 11, not seen it. I've seen the ending of Osmosis Jones, and that's really all I need to. Nope on Pearl Harbor. Haven't seen Pokemon Forever. Haven't seen Rat Race. Haven't seen Recess School's Out. Haven't seen Serendipity. Haven't seen Series 7. Haven't seen Shallow Hal. Haven't seen Shaolin Soccer. I'd kind of like to see that one, though. Haven't seen Spirited Away. I really want to see Spirited Away. I don't know why I haven't gotten to that one yet. I don't recognize this one. Storytelling? I don't know. Okay. Haven't seen Super Troopers. I think I've seen... I'm actually not sure if I've seen Swordfish or not. I think I've seen parts of it. I'll go ahead and put that in haven't seen. Don't want to see The Animal because Rob Schneider's an anti-vax dick. Oh, Devil's Backbone. I should see that. That's really early Guillermo del Toro. Haven't seen The Last Castle. Haven't seen The Majestic. Man Who Wasn't There. Haven't seen it. The Mexican. Haven't seen it. The Mummy Returns. Haven't seen it. The One... I've seen bits and pieces of it, but not the whole thing. Haven't seen the others. Haven't seen The Piano Teacher. I don't think I've even heard that one before now. Haven't seen The Princess Diaries, or the Royal Tenenbaums, or The Score, or The Sun's Room, or The Wedding Planner. Waking Life, a movie called Wendigo, which that is a problematic title, so probably won't watch it. Wet Hot American Summer, have not seen it. Heard it's a good comedy, but Y Tu Mama Tambien. I've been wanting to see that one. I had that one on my Netflix queue, but then they took it off there. I don't know where it is, if I can see it streaming anywhere at the moment. And I haven't seen Zoolander, and I'll be honest, I don't particularly want to. It just doesn't appeal to me. Wow, this leaves thing. Oh, wait. Okay, I haven't really seen A Knight's Tale either. I just realized. Okay. And no, Spy Kids. I haven't seen Spy Kids. I've only seen bits and pieces of Scary Movie 2. I'm not gonna. Okay, so. Wow, that's Yo, that is most of the list. I'm kind of. All right, so now here it all seems to be alphabetical, so we'll do it that way. And we'll start with AI, Artificial Intelligence, directed by Steven Spielberg. And I'll be honest, I know this one. This is not going to be a popular take. Up, you little. Okay, hold on a second here. Okay. Let's try. I'm going to have to. Okay, let's try it this way. No, we're not doing that. Oh my god, I can't move. What the hell? Oh, bad list. Bad. That is bad tier video. Why? Okay, hold on a second. I have to making it as annoying as possible. I think it's fine, honestly. I don't love it, but I also kind of feel like it gets a bad rap. It's fine. The performances are fine. The visual effects are fine. The ending is fine. It doesn't move me all that much. And well, maybe. Yeah, it doesn't move me all that much, but it is nice to look at. The performances are solid. Some of the jokes where they have jokes actually, they work for me. You know, the ending is certainly kind of. The ending is probably not as sad as Spielberg was hoping it would make me feel, but I, I think it's touching to an extent. Okay, Ali with Will Smith as Muhammad Ali. It's fine. It's also fine. I'm going to put that one also in the B tier. Will Smith is a good actor, and it's a well-made movie. I think it's mostly historically accurate. I mean, I don't think there's ever been a truly 100%. I don't think it's possible to make a truly 100% accurate biopic, no matter how much you want to. And honestly, I think even documentaries, no matter how honest the filmmakers are trying to be, can get it entirely. But I appreciate the effort. Also, one of the last good performances of Jon Voight as Howard Cosell, before he went completely off the rails. Along Came a Spider, one of the adaptations of James Patterson's Alex Cross books. I used to enjoy those books, but I fell off after the first of the books to not use a line from a not fairy tale. What's the from a lullaby or whatever. To not use a line from a children's song as a title, and that one is less fine, honestly, especially because I also, after I read the book, it's fairly mediocre overall, I think. I just ultimately wasn't invested that much in either the parents of the kidnapped kid or of the person who ultimately turned out to be the kidnapper to really engage with it. Morgan Freeman did a pretty good job, but that's about all the movie has going for it. Okay, here's going to be a controversial one. I liked Cats and Dogs. Look, I get it. The premise is stupid. I put it in, which is why it's going into A tier instead of S tier. But I thought the voice cast was fantastic. They did their... The deliveries of all the lines were really nicely done. The human characters were fun to be around most of the time. the CGI is as good as it needs to be. You don't really need to break out the the top tier stuff for a movie this silly. It's just fun. I enjoyed it. Have no desire to see the sequel, and I think I'll be happier for it. But yeah, Cats and Dogs, A tier. Donnie Darko. What can I say about Donnie Darko that hasn't been said by anybody smarter than me? It's a great movie, great atmosphere, great soundtrack, and I think it's about, unfortunately, as good as Richard Kelly got. He peaked early, sad to say. I do have a bit of a soft spot for his follow-up to this, Southland Tales. But, I'm not going to get into that here because that came way later. Like about... It was made like about 4 years later and released about 7 years later. There's a whole story there. But yeah, I think it works. I mean, it's confusing, but like it's kind of supposed to be. It's really more about making you feel things than think things, if that makes sense. And I know it kind of get overplayed, but I like the cover of Mad World that was used in the soundtrack for this. Okay, so sorry if I seem like I'm speeding through these. I'm recording a little later than I initially planned. So, and also, I did not realize I was going to be spending quite that much time on the haven't seen section. Good God. Okay. Enemy at the Gates. It's fine. Honestly, I wish they'd just dumped the whole romance subplot and really focused on the snipers. Kind of like the rivalry between the Russian and sniper and the Nazi sniper. Yeah, the romance ultimately drags this movie down. Oh, bird in the driveway. Set off the laser. It really should have focused on the action more, but I guess maybe they were worried the movie wouldn't do as well, or maybe this like the budget wouldn't allow them to do as many set pieces as they wanted, or maybe some combination thereof. But as it stands, actually, I don't usually. I should do this more often with these tier ranking things. I usually just leave them on here in the order I put them in. I'm going to try doing that less. So, put Donnie Darko over Cats and Dogs. Put Enemy at the Gates above AI and Ali. Actually, I think I put Ali ahead of AI too while I'm at it. Okay. Evolution. I saw this in theaters. I think it's really funny, but I also haven't seen it in a while, so maybe it won't have held up as well. I'll put it above Cats and Dogs here. David Duchovny and Orlando Jones and Sean William Scott, Julianne Moore, Dan Aykroyd, Ethan Suplee is in this. They all did their parts well. As I understand it, this started out life as a possible plot for the third Ghostbusters movie, which had the Ghostbusters going up against aliens. Admittedly, I'm kind of glad they didn't go that route, especially... Well, I mean, maybe if they'd done it like right after Ghostbusters 2, it could have worked, but this movie came out like well over a decade later, and that... I think that wouldn't have really sold. This thing's got some great one-liners. The alien designs are interesting. I don't think the CGI's held up all that well, but yeah, it's a funny movie, so you can let that slide. Okay, here might be another controversial one for you. The Final Fantasy, The Spirits Within, I liked it. I mean, I will grant you, I have only played one of the games, and I never even got to finish it because I didn't own the console. I was, but I think it's fine. I think maybe, probably shouldn't have called it Final Fantasy because I don't think it has really anything, at least as far as I could tell, to do lore-wise with the games. I mean, granted, like each game sort of seems to take place in its own separate universe unless that game gets a direct sequel, like with 10-2 or whatever. But I thought it was fine. Honestly, I don't love it, but I think it's pretty to watch. I think the voice cast does a pretty good job. Actually, I'm going to put it above Cats. I'm going to put it between Cats and Dogs and Evolution there. But yeah, I know a lot of people hate it. People hate it, and I get why they hate it. I've seen the reviews. I don't think anyone has said anything about it that's necessarily unfair. It's more like a it didn't bother me kind of thing, as opposed to I think they're wrong. And it's if that makes sense at all. Okay, now we're getting into like the really good stuff here. Ghost World. That is such a good movie. Easily still one of the best things Scarlett Johansson has ever been in. Steve Buscemi, I think he got nominated for Best Supporting Actor for this Oscar for this one. I think he should have won it, honestly. I don't know why Thora Birch fell off. Oh, wait. Okay, yeah, her career started in the late 90s. It's fucking Harvey Weinstein, isn't it? I mean, I don't think she's said... I don't think she's made any accusations, but I bet it's fucking Harvey Weinstein. But yeah, this is just it's a good low stakes movie. And I think you kind of need that. Not every movie needs to have like apocalyptic shit going on. Just you can do a movie that's just teenage girls' problems and have it be good. And Ghost World is a great example of that. Okay, Gosford Park. Nice little murder mystery. Some great one-liners. I don't know, do I want to put that in S tier or A tier, though? Yeah, I'm going to put it in S tier because it has, honestly, one of my favorite exchanges in, like, any movie ever. And it's just, like, it's the whole thing between Clive Owen and the actor. I can't remember the actress's name. But she's like, you cannot stab a dead body and not know. And why? She was Irish. Why do I sound Scottish there? And then, but she says you can't stab a dead body without knowing it. And then Clive Owen goes, really? How many dead bodies have you? Oh no, it's really how many dead bodies have you stabbed? The context should be a spoiler for that, and I actually think you should check this movie out if you haven't seen it yet. So, I mean, even out of context, I think that's a little spoilery, but Well, actually, since I've already kind of spoiled it, the point is like, yeah, Clive Owen went to stab a guy, planning to kill him, except he didn't know that when he stabbed him that the guy was already dead because he'd been poisoned by somebody else. So, yeah. Spoilers for a 23-year-old movie there. I think it's still worth watching, even if you know that. Hannibal. We got our first truly bad one here. I read a review of the book that this was based on, which was, Thomas Harris's third novel with this character. And the reviewer basically said it's like Thomas Harris seems to be daring Hollywood to try and turn this to try and film this one. And they did, and it was not good. I mean, I got no complaints about the cast. I think Julianne Moore had a rather thankless task stepping into such an iconic role for Jodie Foster. I liked Ray Liotta's supporting role in this. Anthony Hopkins was on his A game, definitely, but honestly, it just doesn't come together. The story is not worth it. It's just not good. It's like, I don't think they even... I mean, if you were going to do a follow-up to Silence of the Lambs, if it was possible... I think they would have done it. This was not it. Not it at all. The first Harry Potter movie, yeah, time has, can fuck separating the art from the artist. The more I realize about this world, I should say, because there's just so much stuff like in the text that I wasn't picking up on when I was reading it, like, in my early to mid 20s. which is not super young, but still kind of young, and I wasn't quite as politically aware as I am now. And you just, honestly, at the end of the day, the big villain in this series, it's not Voldemort, it's Blairite neoliberalism. And at the end of the day, it's just like the heroes are deciding to uphold a status quo, despite the fact that the status quo's problems were what allowed the main villain to take over in the first place. The attitude of this franchise seems to be that sweeping change is always bad, no matter who's doing it. A much better story, I mean, it's like, it gets granted it's possible to do a positive sweeping change that backfires or it goes badly, but, a franchise geared towards kids, you don't really want to get too deep into the woods with that. Having him change things for the better would have definitely been the braver way to go, but of course, someone like Joling Coling Rowling wasn't going to do that shit. So yeah, fuck this movie. Fuck those books, and fuck her. Okay. See, Heartbreakers. Yeah. Speaking of Ray Liotta, R.I.P. Yeah, he was in this. Sigourney Weaver, Jennifer Love Hewitt as, I almost said Jennifer Jason Leigh for some reason. As mother-daughter con artists. I mean, it's better than these two, but it still kind of sucks, honestly. Unless your kink is Jennifer Love Hewitt in low-cut outfits, you're not going to get anything out of this movie. In the Bedroom. I think this movie was pretty good overall. I've also read the short story it's based on, and the short story is just fine. It doesn't really do much. Because, of course, it is a short story, so it doesn't really have time to do much. The movie had to add a lot of stuff in order to fill out a runtime. Definitely one of Marissa Tomei's better parts. I like Tom Wilkinson and Sissy Spacek in it, but overall, it's just kind of, it is an Oscar baity drama kind of thing. I mean, there are definitely worse out there, but it's fine. It's okay. Jason X. Yeah, this one's not even great by Friday the 13th standards. But, if you like the slasher movies, you'll have fun with this one, I guess. I just think that most of the other ones are better. I do say most because, I mean, what the hell was going on? I don't know what was up. I don't even know if I even want to count 5, but, Yeah, let's skip. Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. Okay. I'm gonna put it, it does have a lot of jokes that have aged very badly, unfortunately. That said, I think it's not without its charms. So, if you're watching it for the first time, you're gonna cringe. There's gonna be some homophobic humor in there that, even though it was coming more, not malicious, more just kind of stupid, more ill thought, I guess, kind of dumb. It's and to his credit, even the writer director of this movie is like, oh yeah, definitely would not make those jokes now. But I'll put it. Yeah, I'll put it between Evolution and Final Fantasy there. And yeah, I did put Jason X ahead of Along Came a Spider. No qualms about that. I don't hate Jurassic Park 3, but at the same time, it's way better than the second one, but nowhere near as good as the first one. Really only worth it for the pterodactyl sequence, which was a thing from the book that Spielberg had wanted to put in the first movie, but they just didn't have the special effects technology to really make it work. And honestly, I don't think it would have. It probably would have made the first movie run a little long, so maybe it's for the best. But I mean, it's. I'll put it between AI and Ali on that one. Okay. That's fine. The first Tomb Raider movie, this one's also in the it's fine category. Most notable thing about it for me is that Chris Berry, Rimmer from Red Dwarf, was in it. I'll put it between Jason X and Along Came a Spider. Monkey Bone, just a bad movie. Not even Brendan Fraser could save this shit. And I mean, Rose McGowan's like a turfy conspiracy nut now, so that makes it even worse. Moulin Rouge. This is a movie you gotta be in a certain kind of mood for. You do not want, if you're in the mood to watch a movie that's gonna be like, this is Baz Luhrmann. You know, it is style over substance that is his thing, and to his credit, he does not deny it. So if you're just in the mood for something that looks pretty, you could definitely do worse. But I don't love it, but I'll put it at the bottom of the B tier here. Mulholland Drive. David Lynch is great. This movie is great. I mean, I think there are a couple of bits and pieces about it that have not necessarily aged all that great, but, you know, but it definitely is better than you would expect from, you know, a straight man writing a story about ultimately a lesbian couple, especially one whose relationship ends rather darkly. I won't say anything more. I don't want to spoil this for anyone. I will say, I think you really have to not be paying attention to this movie to think it doesn't make sense. This movie is actually fairly straightforward as David Lynch goes. I'm going to put it, I'll put it between Ghost World and Gosford Park. Not another teen movie. It sucks. It just sucks. I'm not saying that's it. That's all I'm saying about it. It sucks. I hated it. I watched it with my dad. He loved it. I don't think I laughed even once, or if I did, it wasn't when I was supposed to, if that makes sense at all. It's a bad comedy, much like Monkey Bone and Heartbreakers. At the end of the day, it's really hard to give a review, even like a really, really brief, like 2-sentence review to a bad comedy, because ultimately you're just trying to find a new and interesting way to say this isn't funny. Let's face it. I mean, I think as badly as it is aged, I think the first Scary Movie, it was probably the last spoof film that had any value to it whatsoever. And honestly, we kind of peaked with... Yeah, I'll be honest with you. The genre kind of peaked with Airplane. It's just that its decline was slow enough that you didn't really notice that it had peaked until you hit the 2000s. Because, I mean, the Naked Gun movies those have aged very badly. Overall, they have aged badly. But the jokes from those three movies the individual jokes from those movies that have held up have really held up. So, you know, just caveat emptor with those. But this one is going to get me canceled. I liked the Tim Burton Planet of the Apes. I'm sorry. You know, I'm not going to get into it. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to include a link in the show notes to CinemaWin's Everything Great About Planet of the Apes 2001 video. Because, I mean, I don't necessarily agree with every positive thing he had to say about this movie, but I agree with enough of them. I mean, yeah, I don't like the ending either. I'll grant you that one. But while a bad ending can kill a movie for me, it's not automatic. I mean, sure, most of the time it does. I will grant you that, but there have been times where the good parts of a movie have been good enough that even if the ending sucks, it brings it down in my estimation. Hence why I'm only putting this in the A tier. Well, do I want to put that above a Cast and Dogs? Okay, no, I'm going to put this at the top of the B tier. There we go. That's a bit more accurate. It'll bring it down from like an A to a B, but it won't ruin it for me. Actually, I think I might link to another video. She's talking about books, but the YouTuber Merphy Napier has a video about endings, about how a bad ending is not automatically a deal breaker. It certainly can be, and probably most of the time it is, but it's again not automatic. And I'm repeating myself, and I'm getting all these fucking motor noises back there because everybody just loves to run their engines really loud in a residential neighborhood because they are assholes. Rush Hour 2. I know that I've seen it. I do know that I have seen it. I distinctly remember some of the blooper reels from the end credits. The fact that that's the only thing that I can remember, though, is really not a good sign. So let's put that at the bottom of the C tier. Okay, the first Shrek, it's been done to death, but do I still? Yeah, I still like it. It's still quotable. It's still memeable. It's definitely a movie of its time, but I would definitely put it. Yeah, let's put it at the. Yeah, you know what? Yeah. I'll put it between Donnie Darko and Evolution. There we go. That shouldn't get me into any trouble. The Fast and the Furious, the first one, and also the only one of these I've seen. It's just okay. That's it. It's okay. I really have nothing else to say about it. It's okay. The Lord of the Rings, the Fellowship of the Ring. Fuck, such a good movie. Who would have thought it was even possible to do that? Peter Jackson caught lightning in a bottle. Are you hearing this shit? All right, sorry. Yeah, Lord of the Rings was great. There are elements of the story, not the whole thing, but there are elements of the movies that are honestly handled better than the book. Of course, some things are better in the book, but with Lord of the Rings, there's just no single answer to the question of is the movie better than the book, because I mean, what part are you talking about here? Are you talking about this character's arc? Are you talking about this particular set piece? Are you talking about this line? Just any number of things. It's a tapestry. It's a really complex tapestry, the movies and the books. And and the soundtrack, it's just amazing. It's just like, I have not rewatched this trilogy in a long time, and I should probably do that at some point. Okay, Training Day. God, I barely even remember it, to be honest. Actually, wait a minute. Now that I think about it, have I seen all of Training Day? Oh, fuck me. No, I haven't. I should have put it in the haven't seen. I seen the ending. I saw the ending. I caught the ending like on HBO or Cinemax once. And for some reason, I thought I'd seen the whole movie, but no, I haven't. I actually haven't. I have not seen Training Day. My bad. Okay, last one here, Vanilla Sky. I actually think I would have liked this movie better with someone other than Tom Cruise in the lead role. I kind of liked. I kind of like the little twist that I'm surprised that no one had spoiled that on me. Because this movie is kind of a stealth sci-fi movie when you get right down to it. Yeah, I think Tom Cruise just his kind of both his personality, his screen presence, let's say, and his ego, which aren't there's overlap, but they're not necessarily the same thing. I think both of those kind of get in the way in what could have been a much better movie. I know a lot of people think this movie is like really pretentious, and I can kind of see where it comes from, but I think I'll put Vanilla Sky between Enemy at the Gates and In the Bedroom. That feels right. Also, come to think of it, I think it's the only movie I've actually seen Penelope Cruz in. No relation. I think it was one of Kurt Russell's better supporting roles. Yeah, it's not terrible. Yeah. I think between Enemy at the Gates and In the Bedroom was a good place for that. All right. So, yeah. Oh, hey, that only took me about 40 minutes. So it'll probably be about maybe 35 when you see it, when you're seeing it. Yeah. Hey, if you want me to do a 2002 movies list, go ahead and let me know in the comments. Or, you know what, if this video gets more than, say, 20 views in the first week, if we do 20 views in like the first week, I'll do a 2002. 2000 is too much to ask for me, seeing as I have like one video on my channel that has more than 1,000 at all. So yeah. So let's just let's ignore all the haven't seens here. It's mostly B tier movies. That with the most movies in it total. And lowest is a tie between C tier and S tier with only 4 a pop, and then you got A tier and D tier in the middle there. Yeah, I think this is good enough. See you next time, folks, for whatever tier list I decide to do next. Whether it ends up being the 2002 movies tier list or something else. It's my channel. I can do what I want.